Okay, anyway.
10 seconds.
I'm with it.
Hey, how you guys doing out here? James Humphrey with another episode of Real Talk with Real Man. I got my guys with me, Kyle Stanley. I got Jay Hatch over here. And today we are talking social communications.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Communicating with the people, communicating with life, communicating with people at Home Depot, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Right. Right. It's important.
Oh,
Always.
I guess growing up, you always think in your mind, kind of nod your head and keep it moving, mind your business.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of hard, communicating with people nowadays. It's like, hey, how you doing, brother? You having a good day? Let me hold the door for you, that kind of thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Little light talk.
Little light stuff like that. It's just then socializing in the bars and in the clubs, around the ladies, around your fellas. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm more or less trying to paint the picture for you guys. Like, how is real men? How are we communicating nowadays with people? How are we talking to our friends, talking to strangers, letting people know we're nice, we're not a threat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How we go about it, man? Kyle, you got anything? Hatch?
I got my idea.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
Okay. Fake as fuck.
Fake as fuck.
Y'all fake. Lying. Fake as fuck.
Okay. That's the usual.
Yeah, fake as fuck. Our preset. This is how I'm supposed to answer. Never want to give it up honest.
Uh-huh.
Never want to speak truthfully how we feel because we're always guarded about, okay, if I say this, they gonna take, fake as fuck. And so that just causes more problems when other conversations start because we didn't enter in the first or the second one, honestly.
Truly. I hear you.
I can actually agree with that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, especially on the job, there's a lot of empty smiles. Like, hey, I kind of like you, but I don't like you, but I have to tolerate you, kind of things. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Especially starting out in law enforcement, where I started at. There's a lot of, hey man, like, don't let this uniform fool you. I'm just like you. It's like, nah, man, you got that uniform on. You ain't nothing like me. He's like, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But I grew up in the same neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, man, you got that badge on, man. I ain't talking to you. It's like, okay, I
hear you.
I get it.
Yeah.
And so, I most definitely get what you're saying about being fake. Is there any realism to it? Can we get real with it?
I like to make a solid and genuine connection with as many people as I can as time allows.
Yeah.
You don't always have time to get deep and personal with a person, but I believe just being honest does help a lot. As far as being real with them, like, I don't like to give people too much room to go negative off of just a first encounter conversation or just like conversation in passing. If you start off with shit, hey, how's it going and shit, motherfuckers usually, not, I won't say usually, but more often than not, motherfuckers will be like, goddamn, man, I got something, bugging me, bothering me, so on and so forth. But me, I'll try and change a motherfucker's mindset and start them off on a good note, like, hey, what's the good news? And that's something that I've been famous for years because, shit, probably since I started in the workforce at teenage years, you just get tired of motherfuckers trying to air their negativity all the damn time, which I get it, but I don't want to be the receiver of all that shit all the damn time. So let's change it up. What's the good news? And then that just catch motherfuckers so off guard to where they're so stuck, they're so baffled. They're like, I don't know. I don't know the good news. Whatever day it is, it's Tuesday, I guess. We're getting closer to Friday, and that's the surface.
Ain't no good shit going on. It's like there's something good. You got to look for it.
Occasionally, you get a motherfucker that's a thinker that gives you something thought provoking, something that you can hold on to for a moment. You're like, well, shit. The good news is, man, I made it here. I was thinking I wouldn't do this or do that, but shit, I followed through on it, and I'm happy that I came through with that. And you're like, well, damn, that's cool. I'm happy that did follow through and that did come through fruition for you. You know what I'm saying? Some positivity shit.
No, straight up. But the reality is, and we talk about this all the time, you got a wife.
Yeah.
At our age now, every man just needs to. You convinced me
But I'm
now.
a singularity out there,
No,
bro.
and I know.
I will say I am a
And
singularity
I'm gonna tell you right
out
now.
there.
That's why the rest of us are depressed.
That's why I changed motherfuckers' perspective, bro. Because motherfuckers will dwell in that shit and they will pull you into their boat. And it don't matter the age bracket. From young to old, bro. I talk to old heads and young.
But that's why I think the best goal would be to convince them go ahead and marry somebody. Because what happens, brothers get into a pot, and they never want to admit it. I don't want to admit it. What happens is you get to go, because this be the issue. Majority of men in the workforce aren't where they thought they would be. That's the majority of men.
Okay,
they might be somewhere cool. They might be making good money, maybe bad money, whatever.
But not where they personally
not where
desire
it might,
to be.
exactly.
Right.
And so when you have somebody you can go home to that make you just feel good,
yeah.
then you can go back to that motherfucker and be
Very
like, hey,
clever
how
out
the
here.
day going,
So
right?
you're saying a good marriage will help your social communication.
Brother, when you don't have nobody to go home to, or you got just things that you just popping something that still don't give you that emotion. Like a couple pies back, when we were talking about when I said the whole, when you sleep with somebody, especially without protection, you make a covenant. Yeah. Like that is real life. So when you're in elements where you just kicking it, popping things off, having just those. You still got all of those other elements of being a man, whether it be bills, whether it be your kids, whether it be whatever, that still constantly weigh on your brain. Then work weigh on your brain. Then all these other elements weigh on your brain. Then that usually for men, because we have a social dynamic that tells you what a man's supposed to handle and what he's supposed to be. So then that leads into depression. Now you a Debbie Downer to every motherfucker you see. But what usually helps with that is when you have a person that you can bounce that off of.
True.
Because ain't nothing better when you're a man, when you be like, you know what, I hate this motherfucker. I hate this place. And then you look a person in the face and they say, well, then quit. Quit, baby. If you don't like it, quit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as a man, you be like, I can't do that, baby. But when you know a person can tell you, fuck it off, oh, brother, that make you a better person at work the next day.
Some problems, because I can definitely relate to that.
And that's all I'm saying. When you got a partner that can tell you, fuck them. And you can be like, really?
Right.
Really?
Get that tension out the air.
But then at 11 at night,
Right.
you like, I can't say fuck you. Like, I got to make this money.
we going to come up with strategy.
But you feel better.
Yeah,
most of these brothers you work with don't have nobody, so now they said fuck it.
Yeah.
And that's terrible when a man's just sitting at home by himself and said fuck it.
I will say there are individuals out there. I will echo that because that is very true and very clever that you came with that. But there are individuals out there, because I do have some friends that are single.
Sure.
And it's just, marriage is a good grounding, but spending a lot of introspective time with yourself.
Ritual. I agree with that.
Getting to know yourself.
I agree with that.
Intimately. What you need, what you like, what you require, and what you've been lying to yourself about.
That's true.
Be honest about what you've been lying to yourself about, and then make decisions of if you're going to change it or if you're going to make peace with it and keep on going.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? With vices and things, bad habits that you know of, shit that you know that you should act on, but you may not have, or you just waiting, or you think you got more time to do. You know what I'm saying? Get real with that shit and be honest. Be like, well, shit, ain't nothing really holding me back. This is my decision. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things is just your decision. There's going to be obstacles in accomplishing every goal, but it's just your decision to follow through, to persevere. So when you can break things down to your own accountability and responsibility, and then it's my decisions that's controlling whatever I want to attain or conquer, then you can make peace with a lot of bullshit.
But I hear you. Respectfully, I had to disagree partially because we've had these conversations many a times on camera, off camera, where I hate the accountability discussion we have with men. Okay. Because we'll talk this as black men. We'll talk this, hey man, it's up to you. That's just not fucking true. You could be fucking amazing, and I'm not gonna put it, here, but we had a rap with the gig. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you being the great motherfucker you are, and a motherfucker just being a weirdo.
Yeah.
So now what I get to do, to your point, is I get to be careful how I interact.
Yes.
Why the fuck I gotta do that? You're the weirdo. And I get what I'm simply saying is those are the elements you run into. And then when you only make up 13% of something, so that means you're probably 5% of most spaces that you work in and these other elements, but you're still human. So you still deal with depression, you still deal with anxiety, you still deal with all of these other elements.
Truly.
And then we say we're all American. But we function different, not us, but then we function different as like all of those things play into it. Like when I was just looking at it, when we talk about 60, I think it was like 65%. When I talked about this before, 65% of like the suicide rate being us, bro. It's a reason why we're so high because you're not represented, and we pretend like you are. That'll drive anybody insane, bro. That'll drive anybody insane.
Truly. Yeah.
The thing that's always held black men at bay where they could be successful, and this is why this would be the first pod I probably really give it up to black women. Because I know, because a couple people don't watch a couple shows, they're like, Jay just hate black. I don't hate y'all. So I'll say it here. The thing that kept so many generations of black men at like in good positions is a black woman.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you get to go home to a
Around
place where you're seen and you're understood.
Yes, absolutely.
I really do believe that.
Yeah.
I feel like being single, being alone, whatever, I do kind of sink in some of my, depression pits or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like I need to go out there and be social, right? I need to have some sort of social communication.
Right.
The problem is I socialize with people that aren't on the same social level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just
So
look at the draw.
yeah, I find that very,
I find that same
very
thing.
difficult. To like, hey, let's talk about this, let's talk about that, whatever. You don't go to the bar and talk about your future. You don't go to the bar and talk about businesses and other stuff. You go into the bar to complain about random shit. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to find somebody to have that same social communications as you. That's not a weirdo, as Hatchie would say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I actually find most of my social communications just through the Lyft drivers or Lyft passengers that I have when I'm driving.
Yeah.
That's literally 90% of my social communications, other than the kids, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah. So I do find it difficult, but at the same time, if I'm not socializing with somebody, then I'm in that depressional pit. I'm in the house, like letting the glass kind of close in, or I should say the walls.
Okay.
The walls close in on
Sure.
me. You know what I mean? So you most definitely want to find a place where you can communicate with other people without losing yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to ask you this: what is it like communicating with so many strangers so often?
Honestly,
That's a good question.
honestly, when I socialize with these strangers,
Yeah.
I
I know
think
John. I know John. I know the truth. Well,
Pause. I would tell outlandish lies. These motherfuckers would think I had a fanciful life. But
no,
go ahead.
here it is.
What
When
did you do
when I
with your time?
socialize with these strangers, I think about how good my life is.
Yeah,
I am so
definitely
literally so
thankful
grateful
to not have those problems.
because they come in there with their complaining and their whining and all these other different things, and
In the middle
I
of
literally
chaos.
think to myself like, I'm glad I'm not this dude who's living at home, can barely keep a job, who's complaining about this and this, who has no idea how life works. You know what I mean? And you wonder why he has no money. It's like, I'm glad I'm not this motherfucker in the back seat. I'm glad I'm in the fucking front seat this time. You know what I mean? That's literally what it's like communicating with strangers. And maybe that's why I do it, because I feel good about myself. Maybe that's not a good reason. Maybe that's not a good reason.
And that's what I was gonna say. Because let's get it real. James, though he likes real conversation too, James is an unhealthy person when it comes to communication. He loves, okay, I only got to do this for 20 minutes, and I get to hear how shitty your life is. And then James used to drop off and be like, whew, man, it's great. What's the next? He likes that, which I'm not mad at him,
Truly,
because it gives you those.
endorphin release.
It's an endorphin release, and
It is.
in regard,
And it's real.
And I'm
That's a
talking
real
shit,
effect.
but the reality is, even sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
Even sometimes you need that.
In
Like,
its
I can
own
barely pay my
simple way.
bills, but I'm not like the homeless dude in the back seat. So you know what? I'm feeling pretty good.
Homeless dude had lift money.
That's what I'm saying. Why you got lift money? Like,
Hey, shit, man,
Dude.
shit be going on. People be in situations, and I understand a lot of people be doing
honestly, about
things.
2023, we just got lazy people. Because if you homeless, but you got lift money, you a piece of shit.
Man,
Dude.
motherfuckers be homeless in between situations,
This
girlfriends,
is off topic.
couches.
This is way off topic. But I literally drove up to this lady packing all of her shit in her front yard, and she was rolling it down the hill of her front yard. And I'm like, am I just giving you a ride down the corner? It's like, no, you got to give me a ride to the women's shelter. And I felt really fulfilled because I did help her out of a bad situation. But I'm literally packing my little ass Civic with all of her shit in the back seat, in the passenger seat, in the trunk. She had all of her
Was it
shit.
like packed neatly?
No. She had bags of clothes, boxes
Yeah, she
falling
had thrown
apart.
out. Yeah,
That's
she
a
had-
lot to.
You know what I mean? And I'm in the front. I'm in it
I
like,
guess what would you do? But
you get out of the car and help us. Like,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
need some help
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah.
It's like if you don't mind, it's like,
I hear you.
all right,
He
cool.
do got a heart. Just because I say selfish sometimes. He got a heart. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Was
would-
she an older lady, younger lady?
Middle age, somewhere around there.
Damn, you asked her what she doing?
I didn't ask too many questions. Other than like, where the hell are you going? Because she didn't have an exact address. She just was going to an empty parking lot, but she didn't know where the shelter was. So I was actually getting pissed off because I was trying to take her to the shelter, but she didn't know where it was at. She was like, "Oh, it's down the street, around the corner from Lowe's or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay,
Smartphone?
you know what I mean?" So I'll take you wherever you want to go, but I need a location. I need you to get your shit out. Out my car.
Yeah, you're not hanging here. Don't make this your afternoon.
You know, yeah.
Okay.
So that was way off topic. But I mean, social communication, like I said,
Yeah.
talking to people, even if it's random, you know, you never know if it's going to change somebody's day, you know.
Yeah, truly.
So that's kind of where I get my fulfillment from driving to strangers.
You got to just have real people, like real people who love you for real. You know what I mean? Like, it, like my brother, you know what I'm saying? You know, friends, I got friends, but like if I had to be like the closest people to me, it would be my brother and my mom's. Regardless of what I'm dealing with, regardless of what I'm going through, they love me. They're gonna be in my corner. They're gonna be in my corner. I know there's no leaving my team. And that's really what a lot of us don't want to admit to either. You want to have a team. There's no leaving my team. They're on my team. You know what I'm saying? And if you got people who are on your team, that mean the world to you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cats. And I know sometimes it sounds like I'm always caping for niggas, but just in real life, there's a lot of men, black, white, whatever, that don't have somebody on their team. So you can see the difference in a man who has somebody on their team. If they lucky enough that's their partner, bro, that makes a difference on how you interact with life. It just do.
I hear you. Yeah, that's something to live for, something to protect.
Sir.
Here's a question: like, how big or how small is your social circle?
Mine's small as shit.
You know, like how, like in your circle, like how many people you got in your circle, you know, compared to how big or how small it is. Because I know a lot of people, they'll have a big social circle, but they can't trust anybody in it. And then you got some people have a very, very small social circle, but there's only like 1 or 2 people in it.
I got 6.
6?
That's excluding my brother and my mom because they're like my core. You know what I'm saying? I don't even consider that my social. They're my core. So even if we don't talk, they're my core. They're who I go to for the immediate, like, okay, I'm about to break. What do you think, right? But outside of them, 6.
That's not bad.
6.
Do you have a bail you out of jail partner?
A bail me out of jail partner? One of you 6 niggas. I mean, I would expect I mean that would put y'all on what how y'all break down of this. Right. So I'll call.
Who put that good profit?
That nigga was the one. And so I know my winner. But yeah, I'll probably say, okay, cool, good man. Because I call you other niggas and say, oh, Jay. Like, all right, that nigga's clearly a 4 now. It constantly adjusts.
The roster adjusts accordingly.
But yeah, that was 6. Yeah, that's okay.
Kyle, how big is your circle?
My immediate household, and then I would say friends such as you fellas I communicate with, and we'll talk maybe a couple times a week. I have probably 2 other friends like you, so that's 4 with the 2 in my house. That's 6.
Not bad.
And those are 2 of them blood relations. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, you just try to protect yourself from faulty relationships after a while. You know what I'm saying? When you are trying to be a genuine person or a truthful person, let's say truthful, you see how many motherfuckers have trouble with the truth and being honest. You be like, let me remove myself from all that. You start removing yourself from drama, chaos, unnecessary grief and struggle that you don't need to be in because you're trying to help other motherfuckers and you think you should. Nah. Kind of preserve that energy, give it to your core group, and live peaceful, find tranquility, I will say.
I feel that.
I agree.
Yeah. I will say and encourage, if it's of any importance, speak in person to people about things of importance rather than text message or even on a video call or some other shit. So many people are lost touch with the skill of communicating face to face with a live person.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
There's a lot to be learned and said about body language that you just do not receive appropriately through digital communication. So work on your talking skills and try to talk to people in person clearly, precisely, concisely, Don't overtalk, and use the appropriate words.
So listen, y'all. We listen. King, he's on social media. Fuck, edit that. But my man's, he's on social media.
I always be like, "What did you do?"
My
And
man's
they're
on,
okay.
my man's on social media. He'll be able to give you advice on how to do it. Because I know, because not putting too much out even on my end of it, he's giving me great advice this last week about this horrible human being that I really want back. And
Come on, man.
okay, she ain't horrible. She's really a sweetheart. But Brody, she been tough all week, man. She been tough all week, and now I gotta do this court, and she been tough all week, man.
You sure you want this out there like that?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm keeping it vague. I don't want you. I'm keeping it vague. But I'm just saying. Okay, my point being is that you give great advice, and I guess my overall point is trying to speak to you have to have a huge level of patience, self-control,
Yes.
to be able to do what you're speaking to.
Yes, you got to work on those
Because
things
once you're
internally.
in person,
Yeah.
so your body language
Yes.
can go good. Because then
Yes.
that person can read you, y'all can read each other, or it could go really, really bad.
Yes, and I will say, whether you're good at talking to a person and you have control of your patience and your body language, definitely the conversation will go smoother. You run a higher chance of both sides having understanding, which is the goal, which is my goal in conversation. We can throw words at each other all motherfucking day and night, but do you understand what I'm trying to convey to you? Do I understand what you're trying to convey to me? That's what we're trying to meet each other on. And some people, like I say, some people are good, some people are not, and I've talked to people that can't even look at me. They got to close their eyes and type shit. They kind of look off to the side type shit. Like, eye contact is a big problem for them. But they're brilliant, beautiful people. But just for them talking, you know what I'm saying, is not the most appealing body language.
And
So-
I made the trip, and you know, got back, you know, whatever, and it was just a day, and we were able to, you know, for the first, you know what I mean, but I took a lot of what you kicked to be able to, you know, because it was a lot of, you know, and I was like, oh boy, I don't like it. But no, so
This ain't the deal I was coming down here to do.
I said, I don't like that, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't have to like it,
Right.
But that's real, and it just takes time to get there.
Yes,
you know, it really
absolutely.
do. No, that's real.
You got anything else? Or go ahead and end the episode.
I think I'm solid.
You still good? All right. Go ahead and end the episode there. Another episode of Real Talk with Real Ben. Kyle Stanley, Jay Hatch, me. See you guys next time.
Good night, man. It sounded like your fire was going out.
Man,
over
it's
there,
been a long day, man.
God
I
damn.
probably think everybody's tired.
It's been a
Me,
long
Kyle
day.
Stanley, Jay.
Me.
God damn it, we had a good goddamn rant.
I mean, you
Y'all
could
have a
have
good
gave
night.
the
Enjoy yourselves. It ain't even probably the end of your night. Goddamn, get that shit out the microwave you forgot about.
See, he done got his second breath.
I know. I started off a zombie. Now I'm about to
He done got his second
go
breath.
get on that midnight and do it.
I hear you. I'm right at you. Oh man.
Girls did good today.
Girls did good together.
Yeah. We finally did a first good episode of the women's show.
Okay.
So,
Good.
kudos to them.
Yes, kudos.
They did do good.
They did good. I'll talk to you about that afterwards.
Okay. So that was pretty vague though. What I was speaking to, I didn't say no names.
You didn't, but whoever
it
it
took
is
me-
is gonna be just like,
They're
damn,
gonna
this
know.
nigga gonna be like,
They're gonna
this
know.
motherfucker just gonna put it right on the show.
Yeah,
It took me a minute to figure out what you were talking about. But I remember what was going on.
Yeah, they're going. Yeah.
Did
But
it
as
go
long
good?
as long as everybody, we'll do that off.
Okay.
We'll do that off. I wouldn't say it went bad, but we can do the rest of that off.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, God, dog it.
I think this is like the first ending where we ain't like talking about random shit.
Man, motherfucking just being tired.
I'm too tired.
It's fall. I don't know.
There's a lot of damn activities.
I don't know if
We
you
just-
guys realize this fall is
Yeah.
like October, so ain't shit going on. I don't even know if the Chiefs won or lost. Whatever.
Chiefs
Well,
won.
Chiefs
My
played
Bears
today.
won. My Bears won. That's why I
Okay.
won my Bears because they was winning when I left.
Okay.
Okay.
Chiefs won. Bears won. So that's always good. And we beat the Raiders. So, that's just a double
No,
good feeling.
yeah.
It's
I
a
know
double
a few
good
folks
feeling.
like mad right now. My cousin, I gotta see what he said.
Man, I'm talking
Yeah.
cash shit when I go.
Yeah,
watch
okay,
football.
yeah.
Sucky ass Raiders. But,
But,
and the
yeah.
Chiefs won, of course. That's my team too. So it was good. You gonna see what these Eagles and Dolphins do tonight. I'm gonna catch that when we get home.
Shit, I'm gonna catch these eyelids when I get home.
I ain't mad. You got to go work in the morning.
Yes, sir.
What time do you got to go in?
Last time, 5.
Oh damn.
5, 8,
So you end at what on Sunday? Like what time do you get off?
5.
You get so
5
you
to
5 to 5.
Yeah.
Jeez. And then you come here.
Yeah.
You gotta start paying that man.
I will eventually.
You gotta start paying him.
I will.
Now me, I'm gonna wait till I see what he get, and then I'll negotiate.
Well, you
But he
guys aren't
deserves
supposed to
it.
see each other's paychecks though.
Oh, that's bullshit. You're one of those
Yeah,
bosses.
absolutely.
That
Goddamn right I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goddamn right I am.
I don't agree with him on that.
Josh, goddamn, you see how this nigga cut my knees out? God.
That's what we talking.
If anything, I'll pay you guys per episode. So if you miss an episode, you're not gonna get paid for that episode.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with that.
Fair is fair. Time on the
that's
clock is
fair.
time on the
Yeah,
clock.
that's fair.
I'll figure out some structure.
It's cool. Just I only want to see it if I'm making less. Like as long as I'm making more,
You said,
I don't need this.
why can't you make the same?
You need to be
I
informed.
think that's the way you should do it. Both of us did public service. I think you should set up a tier system and
Yeah,
bring
tier
us in
system.
at the same. Matter of fact, I'll even say this. I think he deserves 10% more because he was here from the inception. I came on after.
How much do I get?
Nothing. You get all the you get the gravy coming in, and
Oh.
you're passing the gravy.
I get what's left.
No, you get the initial gravy,
Yeah,
and then
I
we
get
The
get
huge
what's left.
percentage that's left.
I'll secretly code it
After
as
our
in I get what's left.
minuscule crumbs.
Okay, fair. Call it like that. Yeah, we getting the
I get
crumbs.
what's left.
But I would be. I
The
think.
ample amount that's left.
Yeah,
The
but-
oversized
but-
portion.
So if I gave you 5% of 100, I get what's left.
95. Yeah, that's what he's
5%
saying.
of what's left. That's crazy. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'll be on this goddamn pod like we watching the Joe Budden podcast. I'll be quiz flipping this motherfucker like, well, we gotta renegotiate contracts here. This is crazy what I agreed to.
I bet we went from social communications to payroll.
No, that's still social communication.
Is it?
That's
Is it?
absolutely.
You're
Gotta have
negotiating.
an
Is that social?
understanding.
Why can't you say that before the end of the
Gotta
episode?
have an
Then?
understanding.
You can cut all this back end out. Well, that's a fact. You over here in my contract. He over here tell me he got a deal for $1 million. But hey, Jay, you get this 20 grand. It's cool. Shit. I'll be in this motherfucker. Man, I'll be talking about that every episode.
Before we get started,
Hey, so real quick, y'all.
the shit that was fucking around last week.